welcome to the Business of You podcast, the show dedicated to helping service entrepreneurs build a better brand to grow a bigger business. I'm your host, Michelle Griffin, and I'm here each week empowering you to put yourself out there, sharing actionable tips and inspiring stories so you can create your personal brand, grow your dream business, and build your future, all while making more income and more impact doing exactly what you love. I'm super excited you're here. Now let's get going with today's show. Welcome, Juma.
Hey.
It is a surprise. It's Juma Bannister of Relate Studios, who's this week's special guest. And I am so excited to welcome you. How are you doing today?
It's great. It's great to be here. I have to say, your intro music is very groovy. It's very groovy. I love it.
Thank you. I'm going for that yellow, vibey, upbeat feel. So I'm glad you relate to that, which, no pun intended, was a perfect intro to your company, Relate Studios. Tell us exactly what you do with Relate Studios.
So I am the creative director at Relate Studios. I'm also one of the founders. Relate is a relationship-led strategic marketing company based out of Trinidad and Tobago. And we help businesses build their content, and we help businesses do content marketing. We help businesses connect with people, connect with their audiences, and internally to the employees, because we believe that relationships should lead all content. And that's what I do. That's what the company does.
And you have a special background, love, and emphasis on video. Is that correct?
Yeah. So my love for video is something that emerged over the past decade. Prior to that, I was trained in print, traditional print. That is like operating printing presses and all that. And then I got into photography. No, I got into design years later, then photography. And then my company started to do, when we started it in 2011, this company, we started to do video from the outset. So yeah, that's how we got into it.
So a little bit early adapters, ahead of your time. We know now in 2021, video is everything. I mean, they've been saying that for a while, but it's just getting even more and more so each year. So today we are tackling a huge problem. People who are developing their brands. I don't care if you work for a company, anywhere you want to be on social media, build that brand, the thought leadership. You want to be on video. And today we're going to talk about being confident on camera and getting over your fear of video. First, let's talk about why in the heck do you spend your whole business and why should people be on video?
Well, video is one of the most pervasive, I want to use that word deliberately, forms of content delivery that you can have. It is a mixture of visuals, of sound, and people get to see and hear at the same time. It attacks two of your senses.
Okay.
So it's not just reading, but it's also, it throws something at you that you can be engaged in, fall into. And the statistics show it, that people are really given over to sitting down and engaging with video when good content is presented. And it's something everyone can relate to. It's like something that is put in front of you, like a human being having a conversation. That's natural. So on video, when you look at it, you actually are almost like you're engaging with somebody and having a conversation with them, looking deep into their eyes. And for me, that is the thing that really grabs people about doing video. Among all the other different reasons about the content, how you can deliver content in different ways and creative ways with visuals mixed with sound. But to see people and to relate to people on a one-to-one basis is very impactful. So I think video is great for that.
All right. What's the difference and what's your opinion? Maybe you have a favorite. Do you have a video format, live or recorded?
Ooh, that's a hard one. These days, I'm loving live. I'm doing 2 lives per week. And prior to that, I hadn't really found my stride in live. I had done lives on like Instagram and stuff before. But now that I have LinkedIn Live, I'm really trying to build out my content ecosystem, my personal content ecosystem around the live. So the live is actually becoming a pillar in the way I do content on the LinkedIn platform. So yes, I definitely would say while I love recorded video, live has definitely become a big part of how I choose to do content these days.
I mean, to me, I'm just going to go out and say, I actually really love live. Yes, there's the details, but you're going to tell us about today, about the tech and all the little things, but those are not hard when you compare to me. I first decided to go out and make my first video several months ago after resisting and hesitating. But most people will sit there and record analyze everything, self-judge us too much. And this is just having a conversation. I say, hey, look, it's no different than having a conversation on Zoom. Now, some
That's
people
right.
are watching, but it's okay because you don't even think of that. I'm more confident, I guess, and relaxed on live video, which seems counterproductive, but it's true. So, and everyone's different, and I get that. But live, you can also have the advantage of having the replay, repurposing all that content. So it becomes recorded video, and you're more animated in the, you're more natural. So you can have, you're not as stiff, on that recorded part. That's one of the ways I do it. So, and I know we're going to talk about your show. In the end of our show today, we're going to tell people about how to watch your show, which is really amazing. It's called the Useful Content Creation Show. So you definitely want to not miss that. So let's get into it. We talked about the benefits, a little bit about recorded and live. You have a 4-phase, 4 tips, 4 categories we're going to talk about today to get over that fear. So you want to start? Let's do it.
All right, so today we're going to talk a bit about how to overcome your fear of video. And there are some, in my experience, having dealt with people doing video over the years, we've noticed that there are some recurring and common challenges with people doing video, whether that is for live purposes or for recorded video or whatever it is. There are some things that just keep coming up. Some of it is like things you can deal with very easily, but there are some things that you may need help for, and you may need to get some kind of information, and we are here today to do that for you. Let's just go through the list of some of the things, and I'm going to start with at the very top. If you're challenged by these 4 things, this is what you want to do. I did a poll recently that had these 4 topics, and people responded to it, and these were the 4 things in the poll that people said they were challenged by. The first one was, I don't know what to say. The second one was, I'm self-conscious. The one was that I don't have the technical expertise, or I don't know how to shoot or edit video. And the fourth one was that some people thought that video wasn't important, or it was overrated. And all of these things have a solution to them. So we're not going to be able to go into all of these deeply today, but we're going to jump into some of the very particular topics, the specifics inside of one of these particular topics, which is basically addressing people's fear of video and being self-conscious.
Well, that's probably the biggest one, right? I mean, you can learn tech and all that, but I think getting over that mindset's huge.
Yeah. That's definitely true. Let me talk about that a
Okay.
little bit. So there's a kind of a sequence that you can go into in order to deal with some of these things. So let me talk a little bit about not knowing what to say first, because I think while being self-conscious is good, I'll just run through not knowing what to say first. So not knowing what to say is easy to address. You have to know who you are. That's the first thing, which is basically being able to talk about yourself in a one sentence describing who you are. You have to know who you serve. You have to know how you serve them. And then you get to know how to say, know what to say. And of course, after that, you can then now decide what kind of content you want to use to say that particular thing. Right? The thing is that if you want to be able to speak clearly about anything on video, the first thing is that you have to be very comfortable and know exactly what you're supposed to talk about, what you're supposed to say when it comes to your particular philosophy. For example, in Relate, we like to say that we put relationship first, so we know who we are, and thus all the content that we create comes out of that particular philosophy, right? The thing about it is that you have to kind of look at the core things that drive why you're creating this content. And let me just go back a little bit and talk about the poll that I did, and talk about the poll, and talk about why I think people made the choices that they make.
Okay.
Right? So in the poll I asked, I'm not doing video because, and people responded by saying, mostly they said that they didn't know what to say. Secondly, they said they were self-conscious. Third was, of course, they didn't have the gear and they didn't have the right technical expertise. And the fourth was that video is overrated. Most people responded and said they didn't know what to say. But when we drilled down deeper and we looked at the actual data on being self-conscious, most people were very preoccupied about how they look on camera.
That's true.
That came in at 44%. More were really preoccupied about how they look on camera.
Yeah.
And I found that to be very interesting. So
and was that across the board, men and women, not just women? And I mean, it was across the board, men and women both say that? Not to pick sides or anything. Or did you not really go deeper?
Right, I can go back and look at that data, but the actual expression of it, I don't have right now where that split is. But I did see when I looked at the poll that there was a mix. I don't know if it's 50-50.
Okay.
But definitely there was a mix inside of there. And I'll go back. My first thing about being self-conscious on video is that, there's one approach you could take, and I call it the BSADI approach.
And what is that?
It means be scared and do it.
Oh, I like that.
And it just simply says that we acknowledge that you're going to be afraid. We acknowledge that you're going to be nervous. We acknowledge that there are some things that you're going to be very concerned about, but you still have to do it anyway. If you want the benefits of video, you have to push past that and do it anyway. Even though you're feeling a little bit afraid, a little bit anxious, you should still jump right in.
Exactly. Getting out of your comfort zone. In fact, my new second mantra besides that one is put yourself out there. Put yourself out there no matter what. So that's what you're doing today. So
that's right. And you'll find that over time, you'll become more and more comfortable. It takes time, though. It takes time to really kind of find your stride and find the way in which you can speak and the way in which you can communicate the things that you want to communicate. But the main thing is that you have to start somewhere. You actually have to get out there and put yourself in front of the camera to really connect with people and deliver the message that you want to. And I think one of the main things that you can use, a technique that you can use in order to start doing that, is that you could just start recording yourself doing video on your own. Or you can do a call with a friend. All of us know what FaceTime, all of us know what video calls. You can jump on WhatsApp with a friend and have a conversation. And then what you start to do is start sending video messages back and forth. So you send a message to them, they send a message back to you. And then what you want to upgrade to is that you want to ask a question. And then when you ask the question, they will say, well, I want to know the answer. And then what you do is that you answer the question.
Okay.
Now, imagine doing that same sequence on your Facebook page, your LinkedIn page, wherever you want your content to appear. You are asking a question and you are answering the question at the same time.
Okay.
And one easy way for you to begin to share content with people, that you don't necessarily have to come with all of this information in the first instance. You just want to ask a question that you know the answer to and then answer that question.
And then like what, like a minute or something? Just nothing long. Okay.
Nothing very long. I have one video on my LinkedIn profile that is 10 seconds long.
Really? What can you say in 10 seconds? Like, what did you do? What was it?
So, well, that particular video is really specialized. It wasn't a video with me speaking in it. It was a video showing me doing stuff. So I didn't talk. I was just demonstrating something. And it was really a fun video. So, and the video could have been a minute long, but I edited down all the way to 10 seconds long.
That's amazing. You know what else you could do? You could do a Loom video. You could do a Loom to describe something on your screen. And sometimes you can put that little picture of you. That could help. Little baby steps, right?
Yeah, and that is something that you could do as well. You could do very short, very kind of concise videos. I think someone who did their first video recently, they just came on and said shakily that, guys, this is my first video and I'm putting myself out there. And, thank you so much for looking at my video. And that was it.
Yeah, that's great.
That was it. And the support started flooding in. I jumped on, I commented, and I said, this is a great effort for your first video. Well done. And everybody, there were comments and comments and comments of encouragement. And I think that people often think when they put their video out there, they're going to get judged upon how they sound and how they look, but it's never really as bad as you think, especially for LinkedIn. It's a really loving community. It's a really supportive community, and you will get supported in what you're going to do.
I was going to say the same thing. In fact, when I did mine, which I can link to in the show notes on this, I said in my video, hey, this is my first one. I'm just doing it. It was after one of our personal branding clubhouse on video. And I just did it without thinking. And then you guys can either make your own little label or put a sticker or something that says my first video. And it's even a hashtag. And people will be even more supportive than normal, right? And give you that confidence you need to keep doing it. So I agree.
And I think that's a big part of being confident to put out any content, including video, is that you have to surround yourself with a particular type of community.
Exactly.
You don't want to be alone. You want to be able to speak to people who can really give you good feedback and not just tell you what is good, but also get into your DMs. And I have a process for this.
Oh, we'll have to unpack that another time if that's not part of today. But yeah, that's interesting.
I have a process for how you go in and you tell people about things. But the main thing is that having that supportive community is very, very important. And just like any other part of content, what you have to begin to do, just start to participate, start to be more active, and it makes it
Yes.
easier for people to then come and support you when you start doing content. That's very important.
Okay, so you talked about some of the things to start. Let me pull up, I have your 4 categories here. Number 1 was the common challenges of personal video. Okay, and how to avoid them. Comfortable with your voice. Did we get to voice and on-camera persona, or no? Or was the first one mindset?
Let me talk about your voice and your on-camera persona
Yes.
a little bit. So it's interesting. When I did the poll, one of my good connections, Robert Berry, he said that he's still self-conscious about being on video for a few reasons. So I asked him why, and he said, "Well, could you share?" He said, "Well, I hate my voice. I
You
always
hear
have."
that a lot,
Yeah.
actually.
And he said he probably always will, which is interesting. But the thing that he said that was key and I think was really great is that he said, "But I think my message is more important than my insecurity." And I
That's
found
huge.
that to be so very powerful, the thing that he said. And I think when it comes to your voice, some of us, we are never going to get over the sound of our voice. We are never going to get 100% comfortable with the way we sound on camera. But that also goes back to the be scared and do it mantra, in that
Yes.
even though you're not 100% comfortable with how you sound, you know what you have to deliver, that it has value and that it will impact people in a particular way.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you put that before just the sound of your voice, then you are able to push past it. Now, of course, there are some people who want to improve the sound of their voice or who want to have a different tone. And in that case, you can get professional help from a voice coach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have a very good connection who's a voice coach. His name is Daya Otley. He's a voice communication coach, and what he does is that he helps people find their voice so they can own the room. He deals with voice modulation, intonation, expression, and emotion. And
Okay.
and the reason I can talk about this is because I did something with him and it was amazing.
Oh,
So
okay.
we did some training where we did tongue twisters and I had to think of topics and different things, and I was kind of trained in how to express myself and how to get my voice across. So there are some people who may want the extra training. They can go get that from a professional that will
Okay.
help them establish their voice as well.
Okay, that's good to know. I hadn't thought about that. But for the most general of us, just being ourselves and learning that important thing, our mission and our message needs to be priority over our insecurities of being on camera. Because I will tell you that no one judges us like we judge ourselves, right? No one's thinking the things that we think inside usually. So just get
That's
out
true.
there.
Yeah, and I think that even with me, I still think about my voice. I still think about whether I'm speaking fast or not. I still think about the mistake that I make when I talk. I still think about the words that I may pronounce
Yes.
wrong. But despite that, I still want to get on and appear and speak to people because I know the thing that I have to say is very, very important.
Exactly.
And I think that that's part of building your confidence. So if you are not confident in the physical things or the natural things, how you sound, be confident in the thing that you have to communicate. And that is very, very
Okay.
important.
All right, that's important. So be ourselves, get over it. Our mission's bigger than our insecurities. And then if we really want to get on it, there's professional help. Good to know. That's important to know too. So any other tips about the confident part, about the look and this? I think you're going to get into the visuals now, right? About confidence and visuals.
Well, let me just say that also another thing that you can do is that, and let me talk a little bit about how people look on camera as well. I'm going to give a couple of practical tips about that. But the first thing is that when people look better, they feel better, and then they're more
Totally.
confident, which is true. When you put on something good, you look good, you feel better about yourself, and then you're able to speak and talk and communicate and interact better, and that is very, very true. And so, for example, what I do for me is that I love, of course, the color red,
Yes.
which is kind of obvious by now with all this red surrounding me. And
And I'm like that with yellow. So I've got on my
yeah,
yellow.
yeah,
So, and that
yeah,
makes it easy when you have a brand color. You just show up in that color, right? Kind of, it's your
it,
trademark.
it does, it does. And what I've done is I've literally made a on camera uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have like two of the same shirts and another one that is very similar, and I just rotate them. Or the only thing I use them for is to appear on camera. I don't wear them anywhere else. And that makes it much easier. It takes away decision fatigue. I can just jump in the shirt and make the video that I want to. And then people get accustomed seeing me. It helps build the brand. And
Yes.
yeah, and it's very good in terms of communicating the thing that I want to communicate.
That's true because your profile has red in it, your LinkedIn profile, and mine has yellow. So we're just continually making that consistent across the board. So when in doubt, pick a brand color and go with that color. That's the simplest form of appearance for branding, at least.
That's right. And on a practical level, lighting is important. Your camera angle is important. Whether you hold the camera high or low, always looking at the camera lens is important.
Mm-hmm.
All those different little tricks are very useful.
Can you tell them about, because I made this mistake and I think I told you in my last week's live, I've since put my laptop up. Can you tell people about the trick about not looking at the person if you're doing an interview like this, or when you're looking at the lens on your camera versus the screen?
All right, so I know the people who are only hearing us will not be able to see this, but
True.
I'll try and describe it.
Okay.
So right now, I am looking directly at my camera.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no screen there. I'm looking directly at my camera. And it's important that you look directly at the lens because then you will be making eye contact with the people who are looking at the video.
Very
Right?
true. Yes. I'm doing the same now too. But if I look down, I don't know, you can probably tell a little bit. For those who are on listening on audio, I think my eyes are going down, what, about an inch or two? So there's a big difference there.
Yeah. So even when you're on screen right now with me, but I have you on screen across here. And
Mm-hmm.
so everybody will know I'm looking across to my left and a little bit down. So even though I'm seeing you right now, I'm not looking into the lens. But if I
Interesting.
turn my eyes
Yeah,
back into the lens and I'm
totally.
looking at you,
Okay.
it's much easier for me to communicate with, right? And so that's important. And I already covered lighting. I mean, I could really go deep into lighting, but we're not going to do that
Well,
today.
maybe you can give us some suggestions for those who are watching and want to come back in the replay and watch it, and for audio and the show notes, because this will be a part of my podcast for those of you which
Right.
launched July 1st. Do you have some suggested entry level gear that people might start with that you could point us to or that we could put in later?
Yeah, the easiest entry level gear for lighting is your window.
Okay, that's easy.
It's your window, and let me tell you why. Your window really produces excellent light because of the type of angle that it will cause the light to come in. And if you have nice curtains as well, it automatically diffuses the light.
Okay.
And so one of the easiest things to do to get good light is to just shoot the video facing the window, facing outside.
Okay.
Easy. So right now you can't see it, but off to my left, I have a big window and I usually light myself with that. Today is a rainy day where I am, so I can't do it today. So I have my big studio light in front of me, which is shining and illuminating my face.
Mm-hmm.
And but yes, use your window. Number one tip. Number two,
Okay.
if you want to get a really cheap light and you want to get one of them, and I know everybody these days has these things because lots of influencers tout them, just
Yes.
get a ring light.
Okay. They're pretty economical too.
Very, very easy to get, easy to set up, very easy to use, and very affordable as well. That's a number
Okay.
one suggestion for those things. When you want to
Okay.
do that, it gets complex.
Yeah. But to start, you don't need anything complicated. We just want people to get started. And if it's something you want to continue, then you upgrade.
Yeah, yeah. Then you can upgrade and do something a little more crazy, like get some aperture lights or something of that sort.
Yes.
But yeah, you can upgrade.
But lighting is important and so is visual. Like if you're gonna, what's the old thing? Is it better to have better audio than better lighting? Or would you say I mean, that's kind of a dumb question, but I mean,
No,
seriously, I think if you can't hear people, you'll just turn it off faster than if you can't see them. We give them more
no.
grace for visual versus audio.
Right. No, it isn't a dumb question at all. It's a very good question because I was going to talk about later on. So, in my hierarchy of things that you should do with video, audio actually really comes first.
Okay.
If I had to upgrade something first, I would never upgrade the visuals first. I would
Okay.
upgrade the audio first. And let me tell you, from a visual perspective, to communicate something, it's very, very easy. And you could still not see a clear picture. It could be pixelated, it could be low quality, and you still would see something. You still would see the form, and you still would have an idea about what's going
Yeah.
on.
Mm-hmm.
If your audio is distorted because we deal with syllables and letters and nuance of intonation, if one piece of audio is missing, it changes the entire message.
Exactly.
So you want to have audio as a primary thing inside of how you deliver your video. So I would always focus on getting that really clean, really crisp, as clear as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
investing in something like a lapel mic for your phone,
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're doing meetings that are or recording video directly to your laptop, you can get one of the headsets with a microphone in it. And those are different ways that you can get better audio. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, if you want to upgrade and go crazy, you can get like what you're using right now a USB mic, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, USB
Yeah.
mic, which is pretty simple.
Yep.
I'm using a bit more complicated mic, the XLR mic with an audio interface and all that drama, but people don't need that.
Yeah.
People don't need that.
No, there's so many levels. So yeah, we are so lucky now. There's anything you need at any price point. So just start at the best level you can, but have good audio. So that's a great tip. Let's go to the fourth one about content creation now, because that's huge. What do I say? I don't have no idea what to say is what I hear a lot. I see it even in writing, but especially in video, because you don't want to get on camera, not look the pro you are. So tell us some of the tips you recommend on video.
All right, so for content creation, it's pretty simple. I explained earlier on that my main platform or my main piece of content or my main pillar content was going to be my live show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to take content out of that and begin to build around it. Now, I was trying to explain it before and it was kind of complex, but let me try and simplify it now.
Okay.
Okay, so what I would say is this. What are you good at? What are
Oh,
you
wait.
good at?
Oh, you're talking in general. Yes. What is someone, what are they good at? What are you known for? What do you solve a problem about? Those are the things I would say too.
Yes. So what are you good at? And you can take that, what are you good at? And then you can derive questions out of the what are you good at? I'm good at photography. What are the things about photography that I know that I would want somebody else to know? And then you look at the lowest level, the lowest hanging fruit inside of that knowledge ladder, what's wrong on the knowledge ladder, and you start there.
Okay.
And then you start to build your way up. Now, depending on your audience and who you want to speak to, you might want to come in at a different level on that knowledge ladder, because at the very top is like expert stuff that many people who are in the industry for a long time will know. At the very bottom are things that even a 5-year-old could comprehend if they're told in the right way.
Okay.
Right? And you have to know your audience and know who you're speaking to. So based on who you're speaking to, you want to be able to craft that content according to that. So you find something that you're very good at, and you focus on the thing inside of that will communicate to people the easiest. And then you start to build your content off of it.
They're having of in relation to what you do and the problem they're having, the industry, the actual level is a good point. And I always like to recommend having content themes or pillars to keep you in the context of things so you never run out. So those are good things. And I think you said earlier, having a question video, someone, you'll come out and say, what are the 3 things that blah, 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 and then you answer them. And that's just a quick little meat of it. And what are some of the things though that you see, I'm not jumping ahead here, but in relation to like a 1-minute video, do people need to come and say, hi, I'm Michelle and I'm this? Wouldn't it make the most sense you ask the question in the audience and then answer it?
Well, first of all, you don't jump on the video and just say, hi, Michelle. Yeah, let me explain why. It's good to introduce yourself. It's good to say your name. And some people have different ways of doing their personal video, but you don't really want to start off by introducing yourself, because then it becomes about you. A lot of my videos, I introduce myself and say my name. I say, hi, good morning or good evening or whatever, Juma here, right? But that is after people have seen the title of the video.
Yes.
So the title comes on, takes up the entire screen, takes front center stage. So people know what I'm going to talk to them about. They know what problem I'm going to try to solve in this video.
Yes.
They know my focus of the video. So they're not confused as to whether or not I'm going to talk about something that's relevant to them.
You give them a reason to watch it, because in our, quick age, you got to have something to grab that attention right away. So a title page is important with the context.
And that serves as your hook. That serves as the thing that will entice people to get into the video even deeper.
Exactly.
So you want to, that has to be very succinct, very clear. That has to be very much plain language. And there are 3 ways that I like to do it. There are many ways that you can do it, but there are 3 ways that I like to do it. The first way is I like to ask a how-to question.
Okay.
How to light yourself with 1 light bulb. That's a question that I would have, that's something I would have said. How to light yourself with 1 light bulb.
Okay.
Or you could ask a question. Is lighting yourself with 1 light bulb possible?
Let me tell you how. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Do that. Or you could make a provoking statement. You could say, you can look better lighting yourself with one light bulb. People will be like, what? I can?
Tell me more.
Tell
Yeah.
me more. Let me
It's
go see it.
intriguing. Yes.
Yeah. So those are the three ways I like to make my hooks and my titles, so
Okay.
that it covers those three areas. So
Okay.
you could number one, do on how to.
How
Number
to?
two, ask a question. And number three, make a provoking statement. So
Those are,
how to, you show, ask a question, you answer, and provoking statement, you prove.
okay.
So those
Great.
things go together.
That's super easy. If we just follow those three, you would never get lost for content. You can just keep rotating that. And people are attention is everything now. So capturing that attention and keeping it by those three, they want to just get to the point. That's lovely. I love that. Those are great. So that's a great takeaway. Well, let me ask you this, because we could talk about this for hours, and I always like to keep my shows pretty quick because I know people are busy and I try to respect their time and attention.
Yes.
What if I'm going to jump into your three takeaways and your other stuff real quick, but what is do you have a preferred video editing software to add all those captions and things? Is there one you like and think it's the best to start with?
Yes, I do. I have one I use, and people would have heard about this. I use Descript.
Yes, I love Descript. Such a fan. Love it.
That is a popular one. I only discovered that this year, and it's been it has revolutionized the way
It does. And for anyone knows, it's an AI generated editor. So you can pop your podcast or your video, it puts it in there and it automatically transcribes it. And then you can edit by just deleting words and it plays it back. It's the free version's good too, but I pay for the pro version or the second version, the paid version. So you don't have to transcribe and pay $1 a minute, which when I hear people paying $1 a minute for their transcribers, I'm like, no, it's free in Descript. I know you were talking about that on another live, but for video editing, I want to know what I'm sure you might use really complicated stuff because you're really high into it. For the average person who wants to just put their video in an editor, throw in some captions and some graphics, what would you suggest?
Well, I mean, there are many ways you can do it. Descript does that as well. I edit all my videos in Descript, but I mean, you can use some apps like Clips, which is like an iOS application.
Okay.
That you can literally edit clip for clip in that as one way you could do it. Of course, there's about Capwing.
I use Capwing too, and I actually pay for the paid version because I can never get my videos. You have to get them under a certain limit for the free version. But if you can, my 1 minute word, I think it's the size, not the length of time. But anyway, It's great. It's super easy, and they transcribe it on AI. So the two ones I would suggest are Descript and Capwing. There's others, but those are the ones I use, and I really think they're user friendly, and that's what I'm about. So those are really good, and I'll put those in the show notes for the live and our podcast when it launches soon. You've been so helpful. The amount of things that you have dropped today, I mean, we could have a whole course on this and talk for hours. But I want to ask you, as we near our time together, which we're going a little over, so I'm sorry, everyone, if you're still watching. I promise you we're going to have some even greater tips. The 3 top takeaways. If you were going to tell me, if we're leaving here today, what are the 3 things you want people to know about being camera confident and getting over that fear on video?
I would go back to say, number one, be afraid, but do it. The fear is probably never going to completely go away as you go higher in your ability to deliver content and to do new videos. There's still going to be some residual nervousness and fear, but still do it. That's the number one thing I would say. Number 2, set up a system for yourself that is repeatable, that is fixed. So know where you're going to record videos, know your lighting. You might even want to go as far as knowing the time of day that you want to do your videos. And doing that would take away all the stress of the figuring things out, because a big part of the stress of doing videos is the setup. Is how am I going to do this? So if you know that you're going to do it in this particular way all the time, you can focus on actually delivering the video and not focus on so much of how you look or how you feel type of thing.
Okay, great tips.
And the third thing I would say is that when you are actually delivering your video, know that you have something valuable to say. Know that the thing that you're saying, that people want to hear it. And of course, have a community around you that can guide you into better quality and give you feedback on your content in an honest and constructive way.
Exactly. Oh, I couldn't have said it better myself. Those are amazing. Thank you so much, Juma. So for those who, I forgot to ask you this. This is something I asked in my podcast, and we ask in the live too, because I always find some nugget of goodness. What is your favorite professional or personal mantra that you want to share with us that people can take and relate to themselves or their businesses?
Okay, I was thinking about this, and this is something that I've never shared with anyone like publicly. People who know me might know have heard me say this, but it's something I have never shared. So I have a personal mantra that one part of it is that I don't remember everything, but I don't forget. And let's flip it and let's put it on the other side and say that people don't remember everything, but they don't forget.
Ooh, yeah.
And when it comes to your personal brand, you have to know people will not remember the date when they meet you. They might not remember your name. They might not remember your business name. But what they don't forget is how you treated them, how you made them feel, and how you impacted them. You say that guy or that lady or that person really had an impact on me. And so that's my personal thing that I carry with me all the time.
Thank you for sharing that. So fitting for today on camera, so fitting for this show, The Business of You, about personal branding, thought leadership to make an impact. So you get noticed, get known, get results. Well, I thank you today. Real quick, if someone's looking for you, wanting to know more about you, where can they find you?
Find me on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Search for Juma Bannister. There are a few others. I am the only one that has a red background. Easy to find. And yeah, engage with me there. Connect, and that's it. All my other social media is at Juma Bannister. You can go look for those two. But my home base really these days is on LinkedIn. So you can go get at me there.
And then give a plug for your LinkedIn live show. It's awesome.
Yeah, my LinkedIn live show is the Useful Content Creation Show, where we share practical things about content creation and useful things about content creation. So when you come look at the show, we're going to do some practical stuff and we're going to have conversations with content creators. It's usually, and it has been, at 9:30 p.m. AST every Thursday, live on LinkedIn.
All right. And he's got a really cool intro video. So check that out. Well, Juma, thank you so much. You have been so helpful. You have given me we met 6 months or so ago on LinkedIn, and you've been so supportive on my video journey and everyone else's, and we appreciate you. So I just want to thank you. And I want to thank everyone. I am here every week with a subject matter guest or expert sharing their stories and their tips to help you build your personal brand and thought leadership. So you get noticed, you get known, and you get the results you need. So again, thank you so much today, and I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Thanks so much for tuning in today. You know, we definitely need more impactful entrepreneurs like you out there. So if you'd like to learn more about how I can help you build your personal brand to grow your business, please check out yourbrandyourbusiness.com. And until next time, you have a brand to build, a message to share, and people to impact. Now go put yourself out there and watch the business of you grow.